be streaming, guys. Yes, I can tell. We are streaming live. What's up, guys? I am James Hake. We are streaming on the Hake Report a few minutes early, like 4 minutes early. As usual, you guys are used to it. Those of you who are in the chat already, appreciate it. So let me just pull this up. We should be streaming on Hake's YouTube, dlive.tv/The Hake Report. Thank you guys for joining me. And I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff that happened this past week and that's coming up in this coming week. And it's going to be fun. So let me just pull this stuff up. I got a tip from somebody in the live chat over on YouTube. A lot of you guys are watching on DLive, and I appreciate it. Stay there if you're on DLive and you like it there. Do it, because it is an excellent little platform. Not little, excellent platform. And people are watching on Facebook and all that stuff. But Christine said, no, it's not. It's impossible. It's impossible to use, says my de facto producer, Dylon. But I don't find it impossible to use. But I don't try to scrub and move around and all that stuff. So, but I got a tip on my YouTube live chat over on Hake's channels. I'm on Hake's channels Sundays, and then Monday through Friday on Jesse's channels in the 4th hour of his stream. That Stefan Molyneux said that the coronavirus thing can be caught over and over and over again. Like, once you get it, you're not cured of it. Unlike other virus things, such as you supposedly can't catch chickenpox twice, but maybe you can get shingles after that. Well, I don't know what to tell you, but be careful. Just be careful. I've kind of kept just a little eye on what's going on with this coronavirus. Just the headlines, strictly the headlines. And so over in China, they're doing, well, this is a headline from Drudge. I still look at Drudge. To tame the virus, Mao-style social control blankets China. Of course, right? That's their solution, generally. But they're not just taming the virus, they're taming the free speech of the people, the citizen journalists who are trying to get the truth out. And in some cases, those citizen journalists are disappearing. Maybe they're getting quarantined. Maybe they're catching the virus. Maybe they're dying. So 760 million people face restrictions, according to a little Drudge thing. 69,000 people infected globally. And so be careful, guys. Just stay healthy. Stay tough. Don't have your unhealthy habits. Oh man, there was a couple that tested positive after a Hawaii visit. So that's globalism for you. I mean, I know that there's like we live in a globalist society now. Like it's hard to get away from it. But this is what you get, kind of. Especially when you have corrupt, incompetent people. Corrupt people are incompetent, generally. And people don't actually want to protect the people. They don't. And so they're more interested in money for one thing, and political correctness and their stupid ideology for another. So I just wanted to if you want to talk about that, you're welcome to. But I have other things to talk about. It's the top of the hour. Let's get started.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about another conservative Christian male banned from YouTube. Evil! YouTube is evil. And stuff coming up this week, Trump rallies, women's forum, possibly. Stay tuned. And they're trying to undermine Trump.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report, as I said. It is Sunday, February... What is it? 16th. February 16th, 2020. And it is live in the 9 a.m. hour Pacific time here in Los Angeles. And I have calls from around the world that we'll be getting to. And we're streaming on YouTube, DLive, twitch.tv/The Hake Report, just to be there, you know. Mixer.com/The Hake Report. Facebook, which is evil, another evil platform. And but very useful because that's where a bunch of boomers and the people are. So got to be on everywhere that you can, right? I mean, you don't have to. It does make it a little tough because sometimes I miss people's comments, but I try to monitor a little bit. So I appreciate you guys joining wherever you are. Thank you. Primarily, my audience is on YouTube and DLive. And then a little bit on Periscope and Facebook and all that. So, by the way, did you catch my interview on Friday night with Asmodor? Friday night, America time. It would have been Saturday noonish. If you're over in Australia, we have some Australian listeners. Appreciate you guys and gals. Guys includes gals. It's not gendered language. And it was cool. I was on the Crypto Report. The Crypto Report. KRYPTO Report. DLive.tv/Asmodor. AZZMADOR. And a lot of you guys tuned in. Appreciate that. And a lot of you guys followed me, followed Asmodor. It's cool. Right on. Really fun interview. Really decent guys over there. Appreciate that. Real quick before I get into this attack on decency, it's not an attack on, it is an attack on free speech, but it's an attack on decency, really. You know, even when they were pushing, you know, when the left was pretending that they care about free speech, they don't. They care about attacking decency, and that's why they pretended that pornography is a free speech issue. As though pornography gives you great ideas. It doesn't. It's disgusting. But way back, I remember during I don't know what decade there was this whole thing about, oh, is pornography outlawed or should it be outlawed? And I don't know. But that was an attack on decency, and now that they're stifling the free speech of decent people and independent-minded people, anybody that's not mainstream, not going along with whatever, they're getting censored and stifled in their free speech, at least stifled on different platforms, right? They can still speak in their own lives, which you can always do, whatever the cost. But they're really going after it. But real quick, I saw this tweet. Somebody tagged me. I appreciate you guys tagging me on Twitter and wherever else that I can catch it. I have to show this to you guys. This was a tweet from Real Kyle Morris, whom I'm not familiar with, but he gave out this headline: Alabama Democrat State Representative Rolanda Hollis. She black, but with blonde hair somehow. I think she's black. It says that her bill requiring Alabama men to undergo a vasectomy within 1 month. Zoom in on that a little bit, towards the top. Undergo a vasectomy within 1 month of his 50th birthday, or within 1 month of the birth of his third biological child, will help prevent pregnancy as well as abortion of unwanted children. That's a quote, according to, and there's a picture of her. That's a rough-looking woman. And if you're listening on the live or on the podcast or on the live audio stream, I think I am streaming on audio. Is the Studio 4 on, Joel? You've been turning that on? Yeah. Check it out if you guys want. TheHakeReport.com/show, I think. But this woman is fat, has dark red lipstick, lots of eyeshadow, and she's black. Mixed, obviously, right? Because all blacks are mixed nowadays, almost. Unless they're totally pure black, right? Is that true, Joel?
Some of them are full black, but they have they come out light skinned for whatever reason.
I think that's because they were at some point mixed with whites or somebody else.
Maybe.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but this is a picture of her, and she has like I don't know if this is her real hair. I kind of doubt it because for one thing, it's pretty straight, wavy a little bit, and it's like bleached blonde or just blonde unnatural. And that's not her neck doing rolly things. I think that's a turtleneck that she's wearing. But anyways, just trying to describe her face. And she thinks, according to Yellowhammer News, which is an outlet that I had not heard of, that I think this is like one of those mockery things of, men outlawing abortion. Women want to force men to get vasectomies or something like that because you can't tell a woman what to do with her body. And she's out of Birmingham, Alabama. That's gross. This bill is titled HB House Bill because she's a state representative, right? House Bill 238, HB 238. Under existing law, there are no restrictions on the reproductive rights of men, which is an outright lie. Mark, one of my faithful listeners and fan and friend of Bond, and Jesse Lee Peterson and Hake, pointed out that any abortion, is a violation of the reproductive rights of men, because the man gets no say in whether an abortion happens or not. People claim that the men are pressuring the women to get the abortion or pressuring the girls to get the abortion. And I'm sure now and then you can find a female-minded evil man, beta man, who does that. But generally, I would venture to say that the men are not for it. Most men are not for abortion. I would bet you. So Hollis tweeted, this is Hollis, right? Rolanda Hollis tweeted that this was indeed a reaction to pro-life legislation enacted last year, including the Human Life Protection Act. She's the vasectomy bill, and this is according to Yellowhammer News, right? The vasectomy bill is to help with the reproductive system. This is to neutralize the abortion ban bill, Human Life Protection Act. The responsibility is not always on the women. It takes two to tangle. Tangle. She meant tango, but she black. I mean, it's true, too. It takes two to tangle, I guess. You can't tangle yourself unless you're a contortionist. But even then. Anyways, in an interview with WFSA on Friday, Hollis reportedly pushed back on the notion that HB 238 is an outrageous overstep. She complained that year after year, the majority party, meaning Republicans, because Alabama is generally a Republican state, even though they didn't vote for Judge Roy Moore for their senator. They voted for Democrat Doug Jones. 98% of black women voted for the Democrat. Ridiculous. And most of the black men, 90-something%, I think, of the black men did too, but not 98. But what did she say? The majority party continues to introduce new legislation that tries to dictate a woman's body and her reproductive rights. Men should not be legislating what women do with their bodies. So dumb. But just wanted to share that with you. It's ridiculous. It's a mockery. And like, I think about what Jesse Lee Peterson says about blacks and black women in particular. Putting them in office, it's I don't know, it's just so such a joke. It's so, for one, it is destructive, and for two, like you cannot take most of them seriously. I don't know. I don't know any black. I don't know any Democrat, honestly, that I can take seriously, but I don't know any black Democrat. And then even most of the black Republicans are weak rhinos. So, whatever. Anyways, let me get to some calls, and then I will get to this. So many people, including most recently Nick Fuentes, who's been on the Jesse Peterson show and different things, banned from YouTube. And they hate decency. Catherine out of Newcastle, England. Catherine, thank you for holding.
Hello, Jesse. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. You're talking with James, though, not Jesse, right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I knew I was talking to you, but I forgot.
No
I
problem.
listen to the show every day, and it's always just Jesse.
Right on.
But I
Appreciate it.
I heard that your presidential candidate, Andrew Yang, left the race, yes?
Yeah, he dropped out. He failed to, get a lot of traction, and he dropped out of the race. Yes, I'm happy. Joelle's happy too.
Isn't he the one who cried on public television?
Yes, and that is probably why Joelle is celebrating so boisterously, and I am too. Honestly.
Yes, well, he seems like a bloody idiot, I tell you.
Right? Yeah. Is that a bad word over there in England?
Well, we use bloody as like a not sure very how to describe it. Like an idiot. It's doing the same thing as probably in America.
Right. Yeah.
So that's usually how we use it.
All right.
That's how my father always talked, and well, I never really knew what he always meant, but I picked up some of those words.
Yeah,
so.
it's an enhancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a perfect. Maybe like an adjective. Yes.
Right. Yep. Anyways.
Well, I just wanted to tell you thank you. You're doing a very fine job at what you're doing, and I am quite sorry at your political climate in America. It seems you guys seem to be buggered. Really, you guys do.
Yeah. We're going the way of what happened to you guys over in England. We're losing the freedom of speech. But there's an awakening happening, and I think there is one in England too. But
there is. I've seen more people showing more, like dignity and love for the country. Because a while ago we would say that we didn't say that we love the English flag because of what people used it for, and I found that quite absurd.
Yeah, it really is. It's revisionist history too, honestly.
Yes.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know why people are ashamed of our country. Well, Morley, Britain. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
But I guess that is just my opinion.
No, I think it's factually a beautiful country.
Yes, I mean, it is a little cold and dark sometimes. But when you get down to the heart of it, it starts to get nicer.
Right. And you guys ruled the world for a while, or a big part of it.
Yes, we did. I used to tell my friends that, well, not friends, but my cousins. Yeah. And because they went to it was a private school, but it was not a very, some of our private schools are morally conservative. This one was not. And I told them that they should not be ashamed of their country.
Right.
Country. But they now, they moved on to Oxford, and, well, I'm very proud of them. They've learned to love their country. The parents have taught them very well. So I'm very much proud of them.
Good. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Well, I was just going to say that people should be impressed with the greatness that once was about England and the British Empire. They should be impressed with that. And how far England has fallen. They should be ashamed of what they are today. Not, if anything, and not with the history.
Yes, I mean, we've controlled America for a while before you guys revolutionized, I believe. I'm not very familiar with that part of history, but yes, we've controlled many parts of the world. Yeah. And still do sometimes, but it's quite crazy that it's just what England has come to. It really has.
Yeah.
And then there is an even American that is a duchess. That's also quite odd. I find that very odd.
Yeah, that's a
Meghan
disgrace.
Markle is the name. Yes.
Right. What a shame.
It really is. It's really
He couldn't
quite
even pick a decent American. He had to pick like one of the worst.
Yes, very much so. Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear from you, Catherine. Appreciate that. Anything else?
Yes, of course. No, I just wanted to check in on you guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you. It's good to hear from you.
Good day.
All right. You too. Man, isn't that a nice accent? I mean, I like America's accents too. Anyways, let me get to Jason out of Long Island, New York. First time caller, actually. Jason, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
Fine. I just have one quick question because, you're a Christian and you might know more than I do.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
Doubtful,
about dating. And I have always this question, if I have a girlfriend, am I allowed to kiss her on the lips or that's until marriage? Like that.
Oh, I say that's up to you, man. Or, you should consider and know that for yourself. I know guys and gals who refuse to kiss until marriage.
Yes.
Let me bring in the real expert on dating, Joel.
Yeah,
Joel,
I was wondering about it.
Yeah. Well, don't violate your conscience. So I'm not saying, whatever. But that my personal advice would be don't violate your conscience. So if you feel it's wrong to, don't do it because you're gonna even if you're wrong even if you're wrong and it really is okay, you're gonna mess with your mind. When in doubt, don't. But what do you say, Joel?
Well, in my opinion, Jason, from experience, is that even the kissing and all that stuff is all emotional stuff. So I would just say be careful with that because one thing leads to another, and you want to avoid all temptation and emotional stuff in general.
Yeah.
The best bet is just to build on a friendship and just be friends and build off of that. And then, when the right time comes, you get married and then you want to make babies and all that good stuff. Then you can start opening up to those things. But, if you don't have enough temptation to which is rare, then just to avoid it all because most of the time women tend to, take it more serious than men do. So I would stray away from it in my opinion, but like James said, it's best to do what you feel is the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's actually really he made a really good point that and Jesse has made this point too, and the old school people, kissing leads to other things and it plays on your mind and feeds that temptation to do wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like when you kiss, that takes you to another thing,
Yeah.
I asked my pastor, and he told me, no, you should only kiss on the cheeks, And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
All right.
So, anyways, thank you. I'm young, so I didn't know, and I try to call Jesse, but he has a lot of people.
Right.
Too.
My advice as far as getting a hold of Jesse is call right at 9 or even a couple of minutes before 9 and just call and call and call and you'll get through if you call in early, or you can call his office after hours and request
hours.
Yeah, his office is open after his show ends from 9 a.m. our time, which is noon your time, until 4 our time, which is 7 your time. So noon to 7, Monday through Friday, his office is open, his bond office, 323-782-1980. And he offers private counseling, and it's great.
Oh, private counseling?
Yeah, and you can do it over the phone.
Yeah, because I don't want everybody to know my mess.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's great. So.
Okay, hey, thank you.
Right on, Jason. Appreciate that. Great question. Take care. Nice. Now, let me get to this real fast, guys. When somebody made the point, I think it was Tony Castle in the D Live chat. It's not her body about this abortion thing. It's just not. What happened? Oh, it's my iPad. So it's not her body, and it's not her choice. It's the baby's body. Imagine, do you have that clip of that little girl saying, what if they, imagine like in 100 years, we're going to be thinking about, oh, I can't believe we allowed abortion of babies, killing babies in the womb. Imagine, it's kind of like how we react to the slave driver whipping that poor little black child. Abortion is worse than whipping a black child, to be honest. Anyways, I love that clip of that little blonde girl. You have it? Yeah, let's go ahead and play it, and then we'll get started.
Are you choosing to be like the plantation worker flogging the little black child, or are you going to protest even if it costs your life, like Martin Luther King Jr.? Who are you going to be? If you think abortion should be illegal, would you please stand up?
Nice.
We need to change the law to change the
Order.
If you think abortion should be illegal, would you please stand up? We need to change the law to change the world, so let's stand up and do it. Thank you.
Order.
That's a Raleigh City Council meeting. Is Raleigh in North Carolina or South Carolina, guys? I don't know my geography. North Carolina. Thank you, Dylan. Sal. Let me get to Sal out of Denver, Colorado. Sal, out of Denver. Good to hear from you. What's up?
Great to be on the Alex Jones show. Wait a minute. You're not the Alex Jones show.
Not
the
quite.
The reason I say that is because you were, it's the kind of thing I would expect to hear on Alex Jones about the vasectomies at 50
right.
or after you had the third child. And I thought that you were punking me. You've never done it before. But I thought, okay, James must be finally pulling one on us, and he's going to tell us in like 10 minutes that he's messing with us. But I looked it up, and you're absolutely right.
Where'd you find it when you looked it up? Do you remember?
From you.
No,
I found it on Twitter.
Okay. Yeah. It's quite.
It was right there. It came up within. It was like the second or third thing in the first page of stuff. The other two were, I don't even know what they were. Something that wasn't the same or wasn't as specific about it. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
So it was that. Wow. When you give a man a vasectomy, it doesn't just stop his ability to reproduce. It interferes with his body's ability to use the hormones that are naturally made when all that stuff is connected.
Wow.
So this is a sneaky way of emasculating men and reducing their vitality and strength.
Well, it's never gonna pass because it's just a mockery. Feminists are not serious people. They're mockers. They're evil, disgusting people. And this woman, look at her for one, but look at what comes out of her evil heart. I'll try not to. Yeah, what comes out of her evil heart's even uglier. But
oh man, she's the worst.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just the fact that they're willing to. They don't care. It's just to in spirit hurt the man.
Yeah.
But a weak man is the only one that's going to get hurt. People who are that know what they know, as Jesse says. Are not going to be affected by this. They'll be aware, and they won't feel good or bad about it. They'll just know.
Right. Yeah. It's true, man.
It's great that you let us know about this. I really appreciate it because I can't stand listening to other news. I got
right
the
on,
Hake
Sal.
news, not
you, man.
fake news. Thanks. Hey, you guys have a good morning.
All right.
I appreciate it.
You too. Take care. So, guys, Google is censoring decency and promoting degeneracy. You know that's true. Everybody knows that's true. This is not even a revelation, I don't think. As most of you may have heard, Nick Fuentes has been banned from YouTube. I heard for quote unquote hate speech. And I heard that from the Daily Stormer and from others. YouTube are the haters. YouTube They're worse than anybody. But if you're not familiar with who Nick Fuentes is, he is a 21, 22-year-old young man or male. That would make him a Zoomer. He is an American nationalist. At one point, he was in with the alt-right movement as like a 17, 18-year-old. And now he has this show called America First with Nick Fuentes. And he is Fuentes is a Hispanic last name, but he's mostly, I guess, white. But he also has like a little bit of African in him too. So he calls himself an Afro-Latino. Halfway as a joke, but he really does have those genetics inside of him. And he's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show one time, and Jesse Lee Peterson has been on his show before. And he, after the alt-right movement was attacked by the mainstream media and by the Democrats and by the Rhino Republicans and all that, and they were falsely smeared after the Charlottesville thing. The alt-right, if you're not familiar with, they are basically very nationalistic, very pro-masculinity, generally supportive of white people. Many of them are consider themselves pro-white, meaning they've completely rejected this politically correct, race doesn't matter, but yet we're going to attack the white people only type stuff. And sounds reasonable to me. In some cases, they may go a little overboard, I guess. Some of them have developed a resentment towards Jewish people because so many Jewish people at the top are so liberal and evil towards whites and towards America and all that. It's just facts. And they don't care about political correctness at all. Some of them, they'll talk openly about crime statistics, which are primarily, the disproportionate offenders of crime are blacks and Hispanics. And then whites are a distant third. And then, of course, the Asians don't commit violent crime, at least don't get caught. But the Asians shouldn't be here either because they're liberals. But anyways, so that's a rough description of the alt-right movement. And Nick Fuentes became more of an American nationalist, and he's Catholic. And that means that he's not for all this degeneracy stuff going on, the immorality that's being pushed as fine, this kissing up to the gays stuff going on, and the feminist junk and all that. So that's what Nick Fuentes is. He's opposed to those things, and he's for returning to morality, which is quite fair. And he has said a lot of edgy things. Like he is a Zoomer, young, and he says a lot of edgy, in a lot of cases, funny things. And he doesn't have that false guilt that makes you self-censor. And maybe he doesn't have some of the maturity that makes you self-censor either. I don't know. I haven't watched a whole lot of him. But there is a time to also be calm, be cool. And sometimes these guys are very aggressively just going the opposite extreme of political correctness. If you're not bashing Jews and blacks and whatever and stuff with generally accurate statements, then it's almost politically incorrect on that side of the fence to bash them. Anyways, whatever. But anyways, he was banned from YouTube for so-called hate speech, which doesn't exist, but they want it to exist so that they can attack only the whites and the Christians and the men and all that. So Red Ice TV was another formerly alt-right or alt-right outlet that was banned from YouTube recently. Alex Jones, of course, was banned from YouTube. He's not alt-right. He is independent. He's basically an independent. People call him alt-light, meaning like he's a civic nationalist. Some of the people in the alt-right movement are white nationalists. But in some cases that just means they're white and they're nationalists. In other cases, they want an ethno-state, meaning a majority white country, which generally everybody should want that. At least for America, that's what it was started out as. But anyways, Colin Flaherty was banned repeatedly on YouTube and he is not alt-right. I don't even know what he is, but he's just a journalist documenting black mob violence, black on white crime. Colin Flaherty wrote the book and puts out a lot of videos and wrote several books, actually. He wrote White Girl Bleed a Lot, which is a quote from a black person who attacked a white girl. He wrote Don't Make the Black Kids Angry and other books. Knockout Game of Lie. Oh, heck. No, but he didn't say heck. And so he's been banned repeatedly. He was like one of the early ones getting banned from YouTube. Owen Benjamin, another, I don't know what he is, but he's pretty conservative. He talks very frankly about Jewish people and others. And he used to be in the mainstream as like a comedian and actor and stuff like that. But once he realized that these people are promoting transgender stuff for kids, he started speaking up. And then he discovered more stuff and started speaking up about all that. He got kicked off of YouTube quite a while ago. James Alsop, another guy who was clean-cut guy, family man now, kicked off of YouTube. Soph, I say little, I don't know how little she is. Young 14-year-old girl. She started out when she was 8, maybe. On YouTube, big on YouTube. Kicked off of YouTube. JLP, the Jesse Lee Peterson, got a so-called hate speech warning, totally demonetized on his main Jesse Lee Peterson channel. You can't give super chats. Super chats are donations with a message that you give through YouTube. Well, fine. We're not gonna give our 30% of those donations to YouTube anymore. That's good. But he's also blacklisted. And when I say blacklisted, I mean like quarantined or hidden by Google. You do a Google search, his channel doesn't come up, and all that. They put everything else but Google or YouTube search. They put all the other stuff before him. And specifically, all 3 of his channels are like that. When you're writing in a Google Doc, you put the Hake Report YouTube channel and highlight it and hit Command K to find the link. You can find my YouTube channel. You do that with Jesse Lee Peterson, The Fallen State, or Bond Rebuilding the Man. Nowhere to be found. And Jesse Lee Peterson is like the opposite of hate. He's like everything he says is out of pure love. But no, they're not for what's right. YouTube, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Twitter, like the government, give preferential treatment to huge companies, meaning liberals, and or fellow liberals, meaning evil people. Nick Fuentes does believe that it was what he calls conservative Inc., which is the rhinos, colluding with the left and the tech censors, or, coordinating or just calling for him to be censored. Sebastian Gorka, who's like, I thought of him, I didn't follow him closely, but I thought of him as a respectable conservative boomer man who maybe he was a little politically correct, but I didn't consider him to be like promoting censorship or banning people. But he's like, why is Nick Fuentes on Twitter? He's a Holocaust denier. And like I've made the point before, most Zoomers and millennials, especially Zoomers, everything is on the table as far as up for debate. They just question everything. They even think, some of them, that the earth is flat. And then, so what? Who cares? Let them. But, it's like a part of their religion, the religion of the politically correct and these people that call themselves Jews, like it's more important for them to make everybody believe everything that they want about the Holocaust, as opposed to like believing in God and being moral. So it's ridiculous. It's backwards. The Red Elephants is an outlet, a news outlet and commentary. They're activists. Vincent James, who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show in the Fallen State, debating gun control with Destiny and others. Well, the Red Elephants reported that Nick said a month ago, and I remember this too, that he was banned for a week, suspended from streaming for a week over some violation, and demonetized, meaning he couldn't receive the super chat donations. I have some of these tweets that you can just be putting up generally, Joel. The Red Elephants reporter Sasha O'Connor says this about Nick Fuentes, who has been pivotal in the de-radicalization of what was formerly known as the alt-right, with his fervent critique of the now defunct political movement, is uniquely responsible for steering the American youth away from radical rhetoric and action while presenting a safer path forward for disenfranchised youth. And that phrase, disenfranchised youth, is so true. The white young people, I want to say stupid, white adults have no idea what they're going through, because they're just allowing them to go to these public schools and college campuses and go on social media where they're not allowed to speak their minds. Everybody else is about them, but they're not allowed to defend themselves or just even tell the truth in general, give factual information without being censored. And that is a form of disenfranchisement. And it's just ridiculous. The anti-white, anti-men, anti-Christian, anti-American thing in the academia, the mainstream media, and in social media, and Hollywood, and the government. It's just insane. And so it's no wonder that a lot of these guys are angry. They shouldn't be, but they are getting angry. And so Nick Fuentes, according to the Red Elephants, has been de-radicalizing them, because when you're angry, you're easily radicalized into anything. The Red Elephants put out a report, August 2019, YouTube caves to the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, which makes its business defaming people. So it's a misnomer. But they want, the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, wants to pretend like they're protecting Jewish people from defamation. In reality, they're only increasing hatred and resentment towards Jewish people by calling everything anti-Semitic and blah, 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 blah. And then they're smearing whites and Christians and men, and so it's evil. But YouTube caves to the ADL and removes prominent right-wing channels. That was from August. In June 2019, the Red Elephants put out an amazing list with links, including Jesse Lee Peterson, of channels that had been recently censored by YouTube and how to find them, including Jesse Lee Peterson, as well as soft, nice conservatives like Steven Crowder, as well as even merely just independent journalists like Ford Fisher. Ford Fisher, I think he's more like kind of liberal even, but he's just an independent, honest journalist. And when I say he's kind of liberal, I have what I consider a more objective definition of liberal than a lot of people. So he may not consider himself liberal. But this Ford Fisher guy was an independent journalist. He did solid reporting on Charlottesville. He was totally detached. He was not on either side. He was not for Antifa, who showed up to this Charlottesville rally. And Charlottesville, for those of you who don't know, was back in maybe August of 2017 or something. The alt-right, or in general, a bunch of people on the right, they had this Unite the Right rally because Charlottesville, Virginia is a liberal town, hometown of, I think, Thomas Jefferson, but I could be wrong. And they had this Lee Park with a statue of Robert E. Lee, who was a general, Confederate general, decent man. Gets smeared a lot by the liberals and the rhinos. But Robert E. Lee, they're trying to take down his statue. The left are trying to just smear American history, white history, and just tear down America and rebuild it in the leftist, communist, evil image, right? Tear down everything decent. So Unite the Right was banding around Lee Park saying, this is an attack on whites, it's an attack on America. Even civic nationalists were there, people who were not so-called white nationalists. People, I would have gone there if I one was, local to the area and had the freedom. I would have gone there if I knew that Antifa wasn't going to be there. Because I wouldn't go anywhere where I know that Antifa is going to be, because I don't want to get sucker punched. But a lot of very fine people went there. And they didn't want to let them rally at first. And then the ACLU, far left, evil, anti-American group, said, no, let them do this, because we're going to be able to use this to smear white people. Really. I mean, they didn't come out and say that, but that's what they ended up doing. And so they were able to rally. But, the mayor, the police did not do their jobs and keep the Antifa people, Black Lives Matter people, separated from the real protesters, the decent protesters. So they didn't do their job and keep order. And so it got out of control. Antifa came to attack, and the alt-right were ready for those attacks because they'd seen the attacks before. And so they came ready with the mace and pepper spray and all that stuff. And they sprayed a lot of these people, and then they're getting prosecuted for spraying the people, the Antifa people, the evil ones attacking them. But are any Antifa people getting prosecuted for their attacks? I don't know. I haven't really heard. And then one guy drives into a crowd after his car is repeatedly attacked by and hit by Antifa people with sticks. And they bashed through his windows even after he drove into the crowd. And so he had to get out of there. But he drove into the crowd, one angry guy. I know he was angry. He had issues. I don't know if he drove into the crowd out of panic or anger or what. But he, after he did that, this woman, Heather Heyer, anti-racist woman, is standing in the middle of the street with a bunch of, the so-called anti-racist people. Not decent people generally. They get injured. She gets killed. And then they use that. The media gleefully uses that to smear the alt-right and smear Trump and all that. And then they said, oh, the alt-right are violent. One guy drove in, and they're trying to sue everybody else for it. It's ridiculous. But that's how they were able to totally smear the image of the alt-right by lying about what happened. They didn't tell the truth. Only Trump told the truth that both sides were fighting. Anyways. So Ford Fisher said that most of the attacks, and he's an independent journalist, not even remotely close to alt-right. He said that most of the attacks were from Antifa against the supposed alt-right people. Only some of them were really ready to fight. Some of them were really ready to fight because they're just tired and sick of it, but whatever. And all of these channels being banned was back in June of 2019, was after this radical homosexual Vox host, Carlos Maza, had like this 5-day hissy fit because this nice, soft conservative guy, Steven Crowder, made fun of him or something. It's crazy. In March 2019, Owen Benjamin was demonetized on YouTube. This is before he was banned completely. After the New Zealand shooting. The New Zealand shooting was by an eco-fascist who believed in global warming, all this climate change stuff, and overpopulation, and he blamed the Muslims for it. And he was an Australian who shot up some mosques. He went over to New Zealand and shot up some mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, and killed some people. Owen is not an eco-fascist. But anyways, the Red Elephants were banned from Facebook. They had a big Facebook channel and Twitter. Styx Hexenhammer 666 noted, who's like a kind of an independent commentator. He noted that they've weaponized the copyright claims, where without respecting any use of fair use, right? If you use any copyrighted content, they can strike your channel and even potentially ban you from using YouTube, which is a great, well, it's a great video streaming channel platform. But it's getting worse and worse and worse because, you know, the left destroys everything. So, and by the way, people are mad at Trump. You know, people on the right are mad at Trump for not doing enough about this. He is a boomer. I'm not convinced he knows really what's going on. He knows a little bit, though. He did hold this social media summit. Unfortunately, a lot of the real conservative people were disinvited from it. He said that MAGA stands now for Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon, because those four huge platforms, which are some of the big culprits in censoring conservatives and trying to undermine his reelection, those four companies, if you will, are $1 trillion companies, $1 trillion American companies, or close to it, right? So he said that's MAGA, Make America Great Again. Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon. It's funny. It's ridiculous. It's kind of true. They are $1 trillion companies, but they are pushed around, and liberal themselves, pushed around by the far left. So just FYI stuff. Let me get to some calls. Oh, you know what? I really like Jesse Lee Peterson's reaction to all of this stuff. He says they have a right to do it. And a lot of you guys dispute that because these people call themselves a platform and not publishers, which protects them from being sued by anything, by, you know, for content that's on their platform. But they still get social media. They still get smears in the mainstream media if a independent-minded or pro-Christian, pro-white, pro-America YouTuber gets too big or too big on any of these platforms. They get smeared and they cater and cave to politically correct advertisers and big companies like that. And it's a lot of you guys consider these platforms, these social media platforms, part of the public square. And those are fair points. But anyways, the bigger point that Jesse Lee Peterson makes, and I love this point, is that evil is doing evil's job. They're doing the job of evil. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and they are evil. And it's time for good to do good's job. And you can appeal to Trump. You can even complain and criticize Trump, but also, like, good has to rise to the occasion, get better from this. These challenges and all this stuff is making us better. And there are ways if you write one of the lines, one of the T-shirts that Bond Rebuilding the Man sells is this T-shirt that says "better, not bitter." So don't let this stuff make you bitter, because it is outrageous, it's evil, but don't be overcome with evil. Overcome evil with good. Right? So, being silenced doesn't make us better. It destroys our movement. No, it can make you better. If you maintain your dignity, you become better and stronger morally as in your inner being from it. And that makes you better and more powerful than you can ever imagine. Because all of this, yeah, we were all enjoying the YouTube boom, and now it's collapsing. All things come, things go. And Jesse Lee Peterson was here before YouTube, and he'll be here after YouTube if YouTube continues its death, right? And so it's no big thing. It is big, but it's your character is so much more important than having this big platform, right? It really is. It changes people's minds to even, yeah, it's so huge. This your life being your platform thing. It's a great point. So don't overreact, right? It does lessen your impact and your reach. True. But don't worry about it. So let me get to, and if you want to call in, that's great, but we're getting to 10 minutes here. Skip out of Augusta, Georgia. Thanks for holding. What's up?
Hey, James, what's going on with you today?
Not much. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to talk with you. Look at here. Did you see on the news a couple of nights ago about this little 6-year-old black girl? Undoubtedly, she was mentally retarded, and you could look at the pictures of her and see that she was a little bit off in the head. They removed her from a school because she was acting up real bad, and they took her to a mental hospital for evaluation. And her mom was all upset and mad about it because no one got in touch with her. They probably couldn't get in touch with her because she was at a dope trap somewhere, and they couldn't find her because I'm sure they wouldn't just take her without trying to get in touch with her. But she's standing in front of the school or somewhere on the news, all upset about it. And
the mother?
And the mother is, yeah, and blacks are standing behind her. She went and got her a high-profile black lawyer, and they're making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And about 2 weeks ago, I sent the story to Nick. I don't know if he saw it or not, but it was about this little white girl. She was mentally retarded too. She had what you call a Down syndrome. We used to call them mongoloids a long time ago, but she had Down syndrome, and she pointed her finger towards the teacher like it was a gun, like she was shooting at her.
Yeah.
And they called the police and picked that little girl up, and because they said she was threatening the teacher.
Yeah.
I'm making here's a little retarded youngin' now. She didn't know no better than that.
Right.
And they didn't really make no big deal out of that because she was white. But oh my God, you take a little retarded black youngin' and take him to the hospital because you can't find the mama and get no permission from her. The blacks are going crazy about it. It's a double standard, Hake.
Yeah, that's that kiss-up culture. And, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, honestly. The blacks do make it's not good for them, though. They're suffering in life for their ridiculousness, honestly. But, yeah, it's to be expected. There's no respect for whites in this country.
And
honestly, there's no respect for blacks either. This kissing up, that's not respect.
No,
it's not good
respect.
for them. Yeah.
You keep giving somebody the way all the time, especially when they don't deserve it. You keep giving stuff to people, and
it's the worst thing
and
for them.
They get that mentality of I deserve it, and they don't deserve it.
Right. Yep. And the more you feed that evil, the worse they get.
Yeah, it gets bigger and bigger and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you we used to call them mongoloids. We didn't call them Down syndrome back when I was a kid. We called them mongoloids
because they kind of looked like Mongols. Is that why?
I don't know. I don't know why they.
Interesting.
But they always smile and they're always happy.
Yeah. And that's what I've heard.
And my mama had a cousin down in Wilkinson County, and she had a little mongoloid kid. And he was the same age as I was. We'd go down there once a year to visit with him, visit all the family down there. And whenever we'd stop at the house before we'd go in, she said, "Now you know she's got a little mongoloid." Oh, she called him a Mongolian. Mama was country. She got the words backwards.
That's funny.
She said, you know that her little boy's a Mongolian, and he's gonna want to hug on you all the time because they're happy. They don't know no better.
Yeah.
And I said, "Mama, he ain't no Mongolian. No Mongolian. He's a Mongoloid."
Yeah.
And it'd make her mad, But we call him Down syndrome now. I guess that's politically correct. Is that the way?
I guess so. Yeah.
But they still happy. I ain't never seen a mean Mongolian. Have you?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen a lot of them, at least not recently. But generally, they do seem like nice people, nice retarded people, or whatever they are.
Yeah. They even had a TV show. I think it was back in the late '80s.
Yeah.
That had this little Down syndrome boy on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you,
I
Skip.
just wanted to share a little black news with you. It's just crazy how they're blowing things out of proportion.
It is. It's like, it's so ridiculous all the time that I halfway just like, it feels like old news now, because it's been going on for decades and generations, and it's only gotten worse. It's true.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse as long as we just keep catering to them and saying, "Oh, poor black people, poor black people."
Well, I think there's an awakening happening amongst the few, right? As the Bible says, few will enter the kingdom. But I think there's an awakening happening. So I think it's going to turn around a little bit. At least the remnant, right?
Yeah. Well, they still, it's all in the news about Kobe,
Yeah.
They're going to have this ceremony for Kobe. They're going to have this for Kobe. My God, the man's dead. Let the dead lay dead,
Right.
Move on with life.
But they're dead too. That's why they do that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Skip.
Well, I've been sending you some news stories of producer Jesse Lee Peterson.
Okay, right on.
I hope you can use some of them, all right?
Appreciate the tips. Thank you, Skip.
All right.
All right.
Hey, now I listened to you last night, and it was a good show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Had you heard Asmodor before?
That's the first time, and I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. I like his voice too. He's a strong voice. It's cool.
He's got a good radio voice, don't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a natural talker, is what he says, and I believe him.
Yeah, I believe it. He's real comfortable with the microphone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take care, Hake. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, Skip. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Guys, I'm opening the treasure chest. Normally, I like to do it at the bottom of the hour, but I forgot. So we're opening it. And so I'm waiting just a few moments, but by the time you hear this, you got to click. Nice. Yeah. I loved going on Asmodor's show. He had Jesse Lee Peterson on his show back in November or so, and he had co-hosted an interview with Jesse Lee Peterson. Of Jesse Lee Peterson, a couple of years before that, or a few years before that, before he was familiar. And he said something great where he said over the past few months he's learned so much from listening to Jesse Lee Peterson's show, and that's nice. I think he said that he's 53 years old, and so that's a nice report. That's cool. So, treasure chest. I'm going to read to you guys the treasure chest results. Congratulations to Noah's Arkansas. Huge supporter. Thank you, Noah. Reed Johnson, Tex-Mex Army, and Shaggy Boy. Congratulations to you guys. And thank you to the top contributors on D Live. Jimmy DM, Noah's Arkansas, Tex-Mex Army, and Jordanos Desta. Mark Boggs, Shaggy Boy, He White. Nice, He White. Drop the Act. Very good advice. Patrice O'Neill Groiper. Thank you, guys. And let me see if I have super chats over here. Jib Jab gave a super chat on YouTube. I'm not demonetized. Nah, Jesse. He says, like the old cliche goes, when in doubt, grow it out. Don't shave the beard. Thank you, Jib Jab. Black Salad from way over yonder, down under, says, God, love, speech, and truth. Can't have that. YouTube. That's a quote from YouTube. Well, he's paraphrasing YouTube, right? He's reading between the lines of YouTube's actions, and that's so true. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. So, this week, Monday, February 17th is President's Day, and we are live on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show as well as the Hake Report. It is also known as Washington's birthday, as in George Washington. From when I was a kid, we called it President's Day, at least here in Southern California, and it was for George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. But you also respect the current president on President's Day, I think. Celebrated in the third Monday of February. So, right on. Trump rallies are this week. Wednesday the 19th in Phoenix, Arizona. Thursday the 20th in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And Friday the 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada. So right on President Trump. Definitely do support him. Even if a lot of you guys feel that he's not supporting you and stuff like that. Don't fall for that. All right? Don't fall for that type of mentality. All right? And we will be announcing whether there is a women's forum at Bond. It is going to be the third Thursday in Los third Thursday of the month. So stay tuned. You should hear the announcement at the end of church with Jesse Lee Peterson, which is in an hour from now. The media is trying to undermine Trump's support with their fake news. Drudge reports Trump's wall claim is beyond redemption, right? This is ridiculous. AP is being evil, and you should never believe them. AP is a far-left, anti-Trump, anti-white, anti-you, anti-Christian, anti-American, extremist propaganda outlet. They do have a lot of factual information. They have they're like supposedly respected journalists, but they won't use the term illegal alien, and they call transgenders by their wannabe fake gender, and so they're evil, and they hate Trump. And so here's their dumb headline: AP fact check: Trump's wall claim is beyond redemption. And it's by this woman, Hope Yen, I assume it's a woman, right? And Calvin Woodward. On the eve of the New Hampshire primary, this is AP quoting. I'm quoting them. On the eve of the New Hampshire primary, President Donald Trump told a rally that the people who are in the United States illegally are paying for his Mexico border wall. It's a fact. It's true. If they're not already, they will be paying for it. It was the latest iteration of his effort to convince the public that Mexico is covering the cost, just as he promised throughout his 2016 campaign and since. Nice, and it is the truth. Mexico is going to pay for it. Evidence to the contrary came 3 days later, according to AP, which is not evidence to the contrary. The Pentagon announced it is taking $3.8 billion approved by Congress. Of course, we're funding the money, dummies, for fighter aircraft, ships, and other military programs, and using the money to pay for the wall. Good. The Defense Department took a similar step last year and may yet again. The U.S. taxpayers are paying for the wall, not Mexico, as has been the case from the start. That's AP's claim. But that's not evidence to the contrary, dummies. Mexico is reimbursing us. They've always said remittances. Trump has said that we're paying for the wall by remittances, meaning when Mexico sends money back, Mexicans send money home to Mexico, to their families and stuff. We charge some of that, and we get money from that. So, and that will end up paying for, the wall is paying for itself. AP also tried and failed to debunk voter fraud as a conspiracy theory in that same article. And when they use those words, you know they simply don't want to look into it. And voter integrity, of course, is an issue, but they don't want to look into it. So they're trying to debunk Trump, and they're trying to undermine Trump's support. They don't want the wall. They don't want Trump to fulfill his promises. And they don't want you to know that he's working on fulfilling his promises. So don't fall for the over-the-top Trump hate. You can criticize him if you're dissatisfied, but you got to support him. Like, right? All right, guys. It's Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. In less than an hour, I'm going over rebuildingtheman.com/church. It is Jesse Lee Peterson's third YouTube channel, the third one. He has 3. Bond Rebuilding the Man YouTube channel. You can also watch it on dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow and in church. Bye.